Monday, guys. Bucks Suns finals preview. Sorry about the intro music if you're not a fan. I've always wanted an intro song. Now I have my own channel, so I have my own intro song. But the Bucks Suns finals preview. Yeah, fancy saying that, huh? I'm sure the NBA is absolutely thrilled. I am actually pretty interested. I'm intrigued by these storylines. I'm intrigued by a lot of the matchups, the mismatches. So yeah, diving in, I did way too long of a preview. Absolutely way too long of a preview, but tried to distill it down into these 4 keys. Real quick before we start, quick disclaimer, I have a Suns plus 800 ticket from a video I put out on June 8th. So if you have any disagreements, qualms with the points made in this video, please direct them at that ticket. It's in a lockbox at a casino, along with my other futures tickets and a good portion of my betting cash. Robbers, in case you're thinking of coming back, the only thing waiting for you, bang, bang, click, click. Oh. I seem tough. Did I seem tough? A little bit? I should put my jean jacket on. But yeah, let's get into the preview. Try to distill it down. The biggest key, and I see it being broadcast all over the internet now. You see Chuck talking about it, Chucky Bark. The holiday usage and how it's going to finally improve because of Giannis being out, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's on point. I think just in general, role definition and the Bucks players conforming to their most optimal roles to win. Oh, you got to go out? Good boy. Good boy, buddy. That's my dude. Oh, what a G. Yeah, I think that in general, them conforming to their optimal roles is like required to beat the Suns. I might not like some of the things the Suns have been doing lately, but they are talented enough and they have enough mismatches in this series where they have to. I think, I don't know, it's wild. Like, it's genuinely shocking to me to have watched, enough. I've watched every NBA game this season. But I've watched enough Bucks where it's like, how do the box scores still look like 25 shots Giannis, 28 shots Middleton, and like 19 Holiday, and you watch the games and it's like all like ISO whatever. And like, I don't think it's magic that Giannis goes out and it starts looking a little better. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's more so got to be some kind of thing with like Giannis and Middleton, and it's like trying to prove whose team it is kind of thing. Like, it's both of your teams, you both really care, you're both really dedicated, and that's why you both aren't allowed to ISO anymore, maybe agreement? I'm not sure, but I mean, it's crazy because, I mean, you hear people talking about it's not like the kind of thing where Drew needs to touch it every time down. It's like 42 of the 48 minutes, I want the ball in his hands. Yeah, I mean, even like, right after rebounds, like, there are most other people on the team, nobody else on the team is going to be able to see the things Drew can see. Sorry, I lost out of my little wormhole right there for a bit. You want to come say hi, buddy? Oh, this is going to be a spastic one, guys. But yeah, I don't think... Say hi. Hey, hi. What do you think? Why doesn't Budenholzer actually put any sort of bumpers on this offense? I have no idea. It is just a dick swinging competition offense. But if they conform, yeah, I think they have the best piece on the chess. They have like the king on the chessboard or the queen. They have Drew. They have the best guard, the best point guard who's a mismatch. Who's going to cover him? An old CP. Booker's doesn't want to, and Bridges, bring him over to do it, and there's going to be a mismatch somewhere else on offensively that's like a hole as big as whatever. You're going to be able to see it from outer space. So, summation, point one, it's like first degree murder how they use Holiday. The one thing you got to give LeBron credit for is like this problem doesn't happen on his team. He knows like a fundamental truth in basketball that a lot of teams don't understand this. A lot of players don't understand this. The Nets don't understand it. There's only one basketball. You only get one possession at a time. It's like one possession here, one possession here. Like turn it over, one possession the other way. But there's only one ball. There's never like a bonus round where you get to shoot 2 balls in one possession. And you need to have clearly defined rules like a real basketball team. Like you're the shooter, you're the closer, you're the creator, you're the rebounder, you're the hustle guy. Be the hustle guy. I don't know, that's one of the crazy things about Jay Crowder, right? It's like by the eye, you're like what are you doing, guy? But like somehow even with the threes, everything at all, he is a plus EV player. He really freaking is. But I think one of the biggest things Drew can do, and it'll bleed into point 2, is that he's a real point guard. He's a veteran point guard. He can accomplish objectives. If the coach says, let's go attack Ayton and get him into foul trouble, he can do that, right? But I think, which is going to be a huge key to this series, it has to be, right? Because Ayton's going to be very strong early in the series. But I think this is all easier said than done. If Chuck is talking about it, I'm talking about it, you're talking about it, we're all talking about it, it should be really easy to do, right? First of all, in the key situations when the clock's running out, when late in game situations, in the playoffs, when people are really trying to defend, and the Suns, have a lot more defensive continuity than the Hawks, it's not going to be as easy. Like, it's not going to be as easy when the emotions are running high to just default to something you haven't been playing on a default setting all season. And I think the other thing is that you look at the matchup and they're going to be like baited into like that kind of crap. Like you look at it and they're like, you look at past games this season, you just think about the matchup. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to like bully them with like Giannis. Like Jay Crowder can't really hang with him. And then I'm going to bully him with Chris Middleton because Mikal Bridges is awesome. I love mentioning his name to Sixers fans and seeing them be like, give it the perfect thing and we give him away. But, just physically, you want to be able to bully them. If you just go to ISO and try and bully them in the post or something, if we just have to watch that, Drew can get those exact same looks through like natural free-flowing basketball. You do not need to do that. You saw it in the Hawks game. He worked so well with bigs. I mean, think about the past with like Cousins and Davis and stuff. And now watching him with Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis, these things aren't surprises, but they're going to be baited into it. Because Budenholzer hasn't put any bumpers on this lane yet, so now he's going to be like, it's just so frustrating. And I got to admit, I am pretty big. Let's just bleed right into, before we do have to touch on, because the one part, I was on that side and now I'm hopping back. The one part, I don't agree with the Bucks are better without Giannis. I mean, you have to put an asterisk. What series? Everything's about the matchup, right? So in the Hawks series, certainly. Because he can do Bobby Portis can do everything in that series that you need him to do, but better, right? He has better shooting, he has better shot selection, he has better court awareness. But in this series, you'll just look at it, and the 3s and 4s for the Suns, because it's going to work both ways, I think we need his athleticism. I think we're probably going to need his rebounding. It would be nice early in the series, but whatever. We're going to need his rebounding. I actually think, like, if we see the Bucks hoisting a trophy at the end of this little tournament thingy here, it's going to be, it's a terrible accent. It's, Giannis is going to be on the court. I just think he is. So I think that part, because if you just think about it, like, what is Bobby Portis going to do against, like, Jay Crowder and Cam Johnson? Like, that's going to be really difficult for him defensively. To try and stay with either of them, and then you just get the carousel spinning. Yeah, I don't know, but they're just, if you look at matchup-wise, I feel like in Giannis and Middleton's head, they're going to be like, I can do this, man. I can do this. I can do this better than you. Think the second key, because I think touching back on the Drew Holiday getting Ayton into foul trouble, you need to find a way. I mean, that's what the box. Aiden's going to be like a huge immovable stone, like the bow of a ship or something, trying to cut through just waves of Bucks pressure after Bucks pressure after Bucks pressure at the rim. He's going to be asked to do a lot in terms of rebounding, I think on both ends of the court, because he can be very effective on this matchup on the offensive boards. So it's just like, how long is this guy going to be able to last? I'm not sure, because I really like him. He's like super likable. I think he's super confident. He dealt with that shit at Arizona very, very well, like a very mature young man. You see him doing the dancing thing with Mo Bamba. He's very confident in himself. But they're going to slowly erode away at him over the course of the series. It's really hard to imagine. I mean, he's young, whatever, but that also means he's not completely in a man's body yet. Is he going to be able to hold up over the course of like this series against the Bucks and all they're going to throw at him? Lopez, Portis, Giannis when he comes back, Middleton at the rim, all the pick and rolls, all these things. I don't know, man. It's going to be a lot to ask him to do. It is going to be a lot. But I think that makes it key that the Suns jump out to an early series lead. I think that's a huge key in the series. You got to win the first 2 games if you're the Suns. I think you got to punch him in the mouth, even preferably early. Like start early in the first game, start early in the series, everything. Because you need to kick them. Well, because they got to be thinking the same thing, right? That we're thinking. They're like, all right, fine, it's time. We'll play through Drew. It's Drew's time, whatever. So they're going to be doing a little, it's not like they're learning, but like there's a level of like comfortability getting eased into it. Kick them in the fucking teeth and be like, and get Middleton's mind swirling to where he like dribbles down and just goes like, da 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 da, and does whatever he's doing. You know what I mean? Like get them flustered again, because I think they can fluster them. Weirdly, like, I think it's like the Bucks are at like a crucial tipping point, but if they get some momentum rolling in the series and they start playing like they can, it's hard to, invest in them too. But if they start playing like they can, I mean, they have the Drew Holiday trump card. I don't know what they're going to do otherwise. Like end of game, I don't know how you would stop that. If the offense is functioning ultimately, and you have either Giannis or Middleton, preferably both, there to crash the boards, like off like a Connaughton 3 or like some kind of creation from Holiday, some kind of thing. Ooh. Okay. I think we got through a little bit there. That sounds nice. Good point to take a breath. But I think, we're going to get to see like how real deal Aiden is. Like he comes up big and he like dominates the series against all that relentless pressure. I mean, this guy is like not only real deal Holyfield, he's like super, super, super freaking special. Okay, so the other key, Giannis return, I do think we need him to win. I don't think the margin, I thought the margin was a little bit wider, but you can only ask for so much of that continuity factor. Like even in those Hawks games, you saw like possessions where like Drew didn't touch the ball down the floor, and it was like, I saw like possessions where it was like Bryn Forbes only touched the ball on possession in a playoff game. Like you see like Middleton ones like that when Holiday's on the court. I mean, I don't know. It's like, but there's got to be something. I mean, that's why you see him taking his more threes. There's got to be something like chemistry, continuity-wise that's not quite correct and betting on it to become correct so quickly. Yeah, I'm not sure. And then I think guarding Booker is a very interesting one that we'll touch on in the X Factor. I'm actually not quite sure that that's like an absolute key. Because I think he's kind of soft. I kind of think the Suns in general are a little bit soft. That's why, like, matchup-wise, it's like if the Bucks just like used the pieces on the chessboard correctly and stopped like using a horse to do like a diagonal and doing a this to do with that and a that to do with that. It's like this is your series, man. Oh, it's so frustrating. But running through a checklist real quick. Shooting, I think we got to go Suns with a slight edge to an edge if Jay Crowder is hitting his threes. If he's hitting his threes, the Suns do have the edge from 3. But if the right people are taking the shots for the Bucks, they can compete. PJ Tucker's going to have to hit a corner 3 at some point, right? Easy buckets, got to be Bucks. Like if they really work their pick and roll game, and especially once Eaton gets tired in the series. Turnovers, I got to give it to the Suns due to even though they're younger, they have the continuity. Chris Paul is afforded being more of an actual point guard in that offense, and when he needs a possession, I do trust them more. Defense, I think is about even, but I think the Bucks will get better as the series progresses. Rebounding, I go even, slight Suns early. They'll progress into a Bucks advantage as the series goes on. Again, stressing how the Suns need to get out to an early lead. Experience, I'll go slight Bucks even with CP3 and Jay Crowder. I do think, it's no coincidence, Jay Crowder teams are always winning, but CP3 ain't won shit. And the rest of the team is pretty young, but the coaching advantage is like massive for the Suns. Monty's just so much better than Budenholzer or whatever. The X factors I think are interesting. Hold on, let me shut the door real quick. The X factors I think are super interesting. I think it has to be Middleton as number one for the Bucks. I actually weirdly, if you're Giannis and you're sitting here watching on the sidelines, you have to understand what you can bring to this team in this matchup going forward, and you have to be sitting there and putting the pieces together somewhere in your head. I don't think he seems like a smart guy to me, but Middleton needs to accept his role. Absolutely has to understand that your ISO is not what's going to win you guys an NBA title. It is not. I'm confident in that. I'm very, very confident in that. And then I think guarding Booker, and that brings up Pat Connaughton, I think is very interesting because, no one's going to completely shut the guy down. The guy really has turned into a technician or whatever. I don't know about him late game. I do kind of think everybody says oh, that thing's just a video. That thing where he's to Hogan Noah, yo, don't double team me, man, in the open gym. It's I see this stuff all year. We're working on our games. Dude, that's dude, you never see Kobe or anyone say anything like that. Never. That's wild. You don't even see that in a rec basketball court. I don't know. I guess people don't double team a rec basketball, moot point. But either way, he is very technical. He's a very explosive scorer. So I think late game, Bucks have the advantage, and in a tight game where both teams are playing optimally, the Bucks have the advantage. Nobody can guard Drew. I think Drew can guard Booker, at least to make shots tougher, whatever. And I think Connaughton can guard Chris Paul. Chris Paul's older. Connaughton's very smart. He went to Notre Dame. He's long. The athleticism, whatever gap thingy, I think if he minimized, I think he could do a good job late game. But Drew's not going to be able to guard Booker all game because he needs to do all these things on the offensive end in our ideal world where they win. So, Bryn Forbes, unplayable in the series. Jeff Teague, that's why we've been seeing him more. I assume he's going to play a fair number of minutes. We're going to see a lot of Jeff Teague and Drew Holiday lineups. Pat Connaughton, though, I think will probably, that's what the others half of the time, majority of the time is going to be Connaughton and Teague. I don't know. Can Connaughton guard Booker? Because Booker's a lead asset isn't his athleticism, is it? No, he's a technician. He's very, 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 very skilled. So, but Connaughton's very, very, very smart. He's a junkyard dog. He's tough as shit. He's relentless. I don't know. Can he stick with him? I think that's a big X factor. How Jay Crowder plays, whether so for the Suns, how Jay Crowder plays, whether he's hitting his threes. Is always a big X factor. Teams are really tough to beat when Jay Crowder's hitting his threes with the other things that he unlocks. But also, when Bobby Portis is on the floor and he's on the floor, you got to exploit that, man. Your offensive role has to increase, and if he exploits that, that's a major X factor. And I think Dario Saric, because they inevitably, at some point in the series, early, late, whenever, you're going to need size, rebounding, key minutes out of Saric, and how does he perform? Cool. So I think we ran through. It's tough, man, because I have the Suns 800 ticket, and I'm going to be completely honest, after watching that Suns-Clippers Game 6, I did have a fair amount of money on the Clippers, but, dude, Chris Paul, that was, super embarrassing, dude. Super embarrassing. As a fan, I remember in high school sitting with my buddies at restaurant bar thingy and watching you and Al-Farouq Aminu at Wake Forest and being dude, this is the coolest guy in the world. And then I found myself the other night being you're running into elbows and flopping on the ground and trying to get cheap fouls when you're already up, and it's a clinching game when you're up in the series. I'm just sitting there and I'm like this is how you want to win, man? Like this isn't like, oh, win at any cost kind of thing. It's like, dude, it's like the halfway through the third quarter and like the whole game you've been flopping around like a fish doing all this stuff. It's like that's not what you're a role model, man. It's like I got LeBron on one side doing the wabba-doodah, the freaking out this way, yelling at people. Then I got you doing the It's like, I don't know, man. Having two little brothers, it's like, you know, I don't know, you see where they get it from. But yeah, dude, I don't know. And I think a guy like Drew, like he's the kind of guy that deserves it. Not like a guy like Chris Paul who like has to be some semblance of a troll. Like, did you see what Boogie mouthed to him after the elbow thingy? Like when he ran into his elbow on purpose, he did he was like, dude, this is why nobody gives a shit about you. He said that to him. And it's like, I don't know, man. There has to be some reason, like, I don't know. I'm not sure. There's some reason why that Clippers team didn't work out. There's some reason why he's done a little bouncing here. I don't know. I can see the hard thing going either way, but yeah. But what it boils down to, so it's like Hart wants the Bucks to win, even though I have the Suns ticket. But what it boils down to is that I can't like invest in the Bucks doing something they haven't done for an extended period for a 7-game series. I think that's really difficult. So as much as I want them to win, I mean, you're basically banking on PJ Tucker walking in like, like a fucking bandana on his head into the locker room, like cold cocking Budenholzer in the face or whatever, and being like, yo, here's the fucking deal. Drew Holiday's getting the ball. Like from here on out, I don't care if he fucking, until he croaks on the court, he's gonna have the ball the entire fucking time. Bryn Forbes, I see you bring the ball up the court once. Bryn Forbes, I see you on the court once. I'm gonna beat your ass on the spot. Just lay down the law and be like, dude, look at you in the mirror. And then like we have a top point guard. You two look at each other in the mirror. We have a top point guard, and like except neither you have nothing to prove. It's your team. You guys can hold it together. Like what cute on either side, the NBA Finals trophy. Yeah. Play your optimal role. Let's crash some damn boards. Let's bully when we want to bully. He'll set it up for us. Let's get some pick and roll action going. Let's get bumping. Let's keep our big floor spacing. Lopez will be out. We'll keep the floor spacing. If they're really going to disrespect Giannis, we'll deal with these problems. We'll be able to deal with it when they come to them. And dude, if it's free flowing, like really good free flowing offense, and everybody's vibing, I like don't hate. I mean, whatever. No, I can't convince myself. I don't want any honest threes. So yeah, what I ultimately came to is that unless there's an inspired speech out of PJ Tucker, I don't think I want to free roll my Suns ticket. I think I'm just going to let it ride at this point because it's just like hoping for something that never happened. It's really hard to bet against. I mean, it's like fundamental basketball. It's like, what do you pick? What wins every single time? If you're watching for however long, it's like, take the best guard. Like, if you just started handicapping basketball, it's like, who has the best guards? Or who has the best people that are going to have the ball? That's the problem with big guys, right? So who has the best people that are actually going to have the ball? Guard play wins. So it's a little crazy to go against that, but I don't know. I do think tons of mismatches, though. I can see it being a really high-scoring series. And yeah, I think I'm gonna roll my Suns. I like leading the Suns, but I don't know about it minus 190. It'll be good eats to watch, though, huh? Happy Moon Day, and let me let the kids say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Why is it so grainy?